The state had filed the modification of support and confirmation of arrears, and at Miss Vieira, formerly Jones's initial hearing, the state approached regarding the potential appointment of an ad litem to file change of status pleadings, since it was an issue of CPS involvement that didn't actually result in orders changing conservatorship. So for today, Your Honor, it appears we're seeking an abatement of Ms. Jones's child support obligation, since testimony and evidence will show that the child has been with her for some time, and we'd like to actually address arrears and possession credits and all of that at final hearing after the conservatorship modification is also in place.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Garcia, opening, please.
That's correct, Your Honor. The court ordered the parties to reach out to me. Apparently, Ms. Vieira did reach out to me by email, but I didn't really realize that. It somehow escaped me and I didn't get in touch with her in time. Dad never reached out to me. I was able to talk to her today. I know that she's provided documentation to the state, and she provided some to me by email earlier. And I did hear the child in the background when I was talking to her. So I know that child has been residing with her. I just need to get pleadings on file, and I finally got an address for Dad from Mom. So now I'll be able to do that with Dad and do it appropriately. I would be asking the court today to consider abating her child support, since she is paying child support. The child has been in her possession, but until we can get back, due to the fact that I didn't get the stuff done in time, I don't think she should be penalized. So that's why I'm asking the court to abate her child support until we come back and straighten everything out.
All right, let's just get some testimony to how long the child's been with her, and then we'll look at a date going forward. I'll let you, y'all can let me know if y'all have already figured one out. But for right now, we'll go ahead and see about stopping the child support and resetting this matter to set up child support and cash medical going forward against the non-custodial father at this point.
State calls Maria Vieira. And what is your full name?
My middle name?
Yes, please.
Maria de Los Angeles Vieira.
Who is the child in this case?
Jada Lawson.
How are you related to Jada?
Her mom.
Who is Jada's father?
Reginald Lawson.
Were you able to hear my opening statement a little earlier, ma'am?
Yes.
Was it accurate in that CPS was previously involved and your daughter was placed with Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
And then at what point, ma'am, did your daughter come back to live with you?
January 25th of this year.
And is it correct, ma'am, that that CPS order placing your daughter with Mr. Lawson also ordered you to pay support for her?
Yes.
And then how did that come to be that she went to come back with you?
January this year, she ended up leaving his house and calling me, and I picked her up, and I had to call CPS to let them know what happened. They opened up another case to talk about what happened at his house.
And so at this time, ma'am, there have been no CPS orders changing it back to you being primary person for your daughter?
Correct.
And you understand, ma'am, why it is we've got to get those pleadings on file to actually address all that, correct?
Yes.
And are there any issues, ma'am, with you coming back to court via Zoom on September 5th?
No.
Anything else you wanted the court to consider at this time, ma'am?
Just about the child support, about me paying child support, almost $300 with her being here.
And so, ma'am, you understand that both Ms. Garcia and the state have no problem with your request that the court stop your support until we can do a final order in this case?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, I pass the witness.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Garcia, your witness.
Yes, ma'am. And the department became involved when your daughter came back to the home in January. You said they didn't make any orders, but they also didn't remove her from your home, correct?
Correct.
And you've been paying child support consistently the whole time you've been ordered to do so, including the time that she's been residing with you, correct, until today?
Correct.
Have you had any contact with the father?
No.
Has he been involved with the child at all since she's gone to live with you?
No.
Okay. You gave me an address for him today in Colleen, correct?
Correct.
You believe he still resides there?
Yes.
And you indicated you don't have a phone number for him?
Correct.
And as far as you know, you said that CPS conducted a investigation into the allegations that led to your daughter returning to your home, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and what is your understanding of the findings that CPS made at that time, at the end of that investigation?
Just that the boys in the house were the reason to believe, I think, sexual abuse.
So it was reason to believe.
Correct.
All right, that's all I had, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, did the CPS ever send you any documentation to that effect?
I sent it to Miss Carmen in an
Okay.
email.
All right.
But
good enough.
everything else the state asked me, like proof that she was in school and think affidavit of possession, I sent that to.
Right. I'm just gonna make sure the CPS is not gonna come back and try to jump in this, because this is technically was their case, but it's mine now, so. All right,
I have that document she sent me.
all right then. All right then, any other questions then, Ms. Garcia?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else on redirect, Ms. Mongat? I'm sorry, it says you're unmuted, but I didn't hear you, ma'am, sorry.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right then, folks, I'm looking at going ahead and stopping the child support going forward, starting the 1st of July. That's obviously nothing I can do. We'll look at everything else as per, and then I'll set this up. Obviously, I'm gonna set this up for final in September, but once I get a copy of the paperwork, I will set this up for a permanent injunction hearing at an earlier date. I'm kind of worried once Dad gets hit with the paperwork, he's gonna try to pull something. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen, and we'll take up the injunctive relief once I get a copy of the paperwork from you, Ms. Garcia, requesting the modification, and I'll go ahead and set that up for a temporary hearing within 2 weeks of that. That way we can get the restraining order turned into an injunction, and the injunction will be in effect until we come back in September. Okay.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, ma'am, I know that's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo, and luckily I haven't had to do something like that in 20 years. I love that. So yeah, those were the good old days. Those were the fun times, showing up at 4 o'clock, trying to get a district judge to sign a restraining order and getting it served that evening. That was always a lot of fun. I wish we'd had electronic filing back in those days. But anyway, ma'am, Ms. Vieira, do you have any questions at this time, ma'am? Anything else you think I need to know?
No, that's it.
All right, anything else, Ms. Mongat?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything else, Ms. Garcia?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you all very much, and I'll see y'all in September. And September 5th, it will still be 105 degrees outside, so be it. Anyway, see y'all then, folks. Thank you. We're off the record.
My own social life, and I just don't feel that, him trying to come in and out just because he's saying that he's looking out for Lay is a reason to have my address where he gets his visits. It's not like I'm keeping him from her. So him wanting my address is another one of his stalking moves.
Okay, but you were held in contempt by this court for not allowing Mr. Thomas to have his possession and access back in April of 2022. Isn't that correct?
No, that's not correct.
So you were not held.
That's what y'all agreed on. No,
it wasn't an agreement.
that's what y'all agreed on.